Ready for this? I hope so. Welcome to Storytime. This is where we tell stories. Absolutely, J40. Today, to celebrate Horror Day, we have a very special horror-themed story time. That would be a true horror story, John. Yes, it would. Are we ready? Let's go. This is a story entitled Fitcher's Bird. It was written down by the Brothers Grimm, who lived in Germany in the 19th century. You may have heard of them. Cheers. Once upon a time, there was a sorcerer. His name was Mons, and he was pure evil. He would disguise himself as a poor man, and he went begging from house to house and captured beautiful girls. No one knew where he took them, for none of them ever returned. One day he came to the door of a man who had 3 beautiful daughters. He appeared to be a poor, weak beggar, and he carried a pack basket on his back, as though he wanted to collect some benevolent offerings in it. He asked for a bit to eat, and when the oldest daughter came out... Come here, oldest daughter. There you are. When the oldest daughter came out to give him a piece of bread, he simply touched her, and she was forced to jump into his pack basket. Then he hurried away with powerful strides and carried her to his house, which stood in the middle of a dark forest. Sexy whale. Yes, that's Sexy Whale. That's Family Whale's face, if you don't know. And the evil sorcerer slash beggar is Mons. Monster Man. Everything was splendid in the house, and he gave her everything that she wanted. He said, "My dear, you will like it here with me. You will have everything that your heart desires." Get in the basket. He's a pretend beggar. So it went for a few days, and then he said to her, "I have to go away and leave you alone for a short time. Here are the house keys. You may go everywhere and look at everything, except for the one room that this little key here unlocks. I forbid you to go there on the penalty of death." He also gave her an egg, saying, "Take good care of this egg. You should carry it with you at all times, for if you should lose it, great misfortune would follow." She took the keys and the egg and promised to take good care of everything. And he left. As soon as he had gone, she walked about in the house from top to bottom, examining everything. The rooms glistened with silver and gold, and she thought that she had never seen such splendor. Finally, she came to the forbidden door. She wanted to pass it by, but curiosity gave her no rest. She examined the key. It looked like any other one. She put it into the lock, and twisted it a little, and then the door sprang open. Hi, Bash. What did she see when she stepped inside? A large bloody basin stood in the middle, inside which there lay the cut-up parts of dead girls. Nearby was a wooden block with a glistening axe lying on it. She was so terrified that the egg, which she was holding in her hand, fell into the basin. She got it out again and wiped off the blood, but it was to no avail, for it always came back. She wiped and scrubbed, but she could not get rid of the stain. Daisy ain't killing shit. She's dead. Look at her. Just look at her. Hi, Bo. Not long after, the man returned from his journey. And he immediately asked for the key and the egg. She handed them to him, shaking all the while, for he saw from the red stain that she had been in the blood chamber. You went into that chamber against my will, he said, and now against your will you shall go into it once again. Your life is finished. And he threw her down, dragged her by her hair into the chamber, and he cut off her head on the block, then cut her into pieces, and her blood flowed out onto the floor. Then he threw her into the basin with the others. Rip whale. Now I will go get the second one, said the sorcerer. And again, he disguised himself as a poor man, and he went back to the house begging. Another one on the pile. Now the second sister brought him a piece of bread. There's the second sister. And as he had done to the first one, he captured her by merely touching her. Get in the basket. And he carried her away. What's up, T-Mac? It went with her no better than it had gone with her sister. She let herself be led astray by her curiosity, opened the blood chamber and went inside. And when he returned, she paid with her life. Then he went and captured the third sister. Where are you, third sister? There you are. But she was clever and sly. Get in the basket. Alright. After he had given her the keys and the egg, and had gone away, she carefully put the egg aside. There you go. And then examined the house, entering finally the forbidden chamber. Oh, what she saw! Her two dear sisters were lying there in the basin, miserably murdered and chopped to pieces. In spite of this, she proceeded to gather their parts together and take them to her room. And she put them back in order, head, body, arms, and legs. Then when nothing else was missing, the parts began to move. They joined together and came back to life. Rejoicing, they kissed and hugged one another. You're back, Whale. See? We didn't really kill you. Temporarily murdered you. Well, Mons temporarily murdered you. Yes. Kisses and hugs for everyone. When the man returned home, he immediately demanded the keys and the egg. And when he was unable to detect any trace of blood on them, he said, "You have passed the test. You shall be my bride." He now had no more power over her and had to do whatever she demanded. "Good," she answered. "But first you must take a basket full of gold to my father and mother. You yourself must carry it there on your back. In the meanwhile, I shall make preparations for the wedding." Then she ran to her sisters, who she had hidden in a closet. And she said, "The moment is here when I can rescue you. The evildoer himself shall carry you home. As soon as you have arrived at home, send help to me." And she put them both in a basket. Where are we? And then covered them entirely with gold, so that nothing could be seen of them. Then she called in the sorcerer and said, "Now carry this basket away, but you are not to stop and rest underway. Take care, for I shall be watching you through my little window." Are you fucking kidding me? Why are you fucking hammering? And there was a knock at the door. Give me just a second. All right. The sorcerer lifted the basket onto his back. Oops. Get out of there. And walked away with it. However, it pressed down so heavily on him that the sweat ran down from his face. He sat down wanting to rest, but immediately one of the girls in the basket called out, "I am looking through my little window and I can see that you are resting. Walk on." He thought that his bride was calling to him, so he got up again. Then he again wanted to sit down, but someone immediately called out, "I am looking through my little window and I can see that you are resting. Walk on." Every time that he stopped walking, someone called out, and he had to walk on until, groaning and out of breath, he brought the basket with the gold and the two girls to their parents' house. Gold digger Zolda. Back at home. Back at home, the bride was making preparations for the wedding feast, to which she had invited the sorcerer's friends. Then she took a skull with grinning teeth, adorned it with jewelry and with a wreath of flowers, carried it to the attic window, and let it look out. When everything was ready, she dipped herself into a barrel of honey. Yes, she did. Then she cut open the bed and rolled around in it until she looked like some kind of strange bird. And no one would have been able to recognize her. And she walked out of the house. Underway, some of the wedding guests met her. And they asked, "You, Fitcher's bird, where are you coming from?" "I am coming from Fitcher's house." "What is his young bride doing there?" "She has swept the house from bottom to top, and now she is looking out of the attic window." Finally, her bridegroom met her. He was slowly walking back home, and like the others, he asked, "You, Fitcher's bird, where are you coming from?" "I am coming from Fitcher's house." "What is my young bride doing there?" "She has swept the house from bottom to top, and now she is looking out of the attic window." The bridegroom looked up. Seeing the decorated skull, he thought it was his bride, and he waved a friendly greeting to her. A lovely couple. And then the bridegroom and all of the guests went into the house. And that is when the bride's brothers and relatives arrived. They had all been sent to rescue her. After closing up all the doors of the house so that no one could escape, they set it on fire. And the sorcerer, together with his gang, all burned to death. There's Stia. Rip Mons and Monty and Shadow, I guess. And if y'all don't know, that is Lady Fury. Great streamer. Cool chick. And Tabasco Punk. And Stia. And Mon Mon. And that was the story of Fitcher's Bird by the Brothers Grimm. I hope you enjoyed it. And this has been Storytime with DyingCamel. Horror version. Horrible horror version. Thank you for watching and laughing along with me.
Yeah, fuck you!